Okay, early on, when building a project finance model, we need to decide how we're going to structure the timelines in the model. During the construction period, it's really important that we model everything monthly. The drawdowns are monthly, debt and interest are rolling up on a monthly basis, and we really need to have that on a monthly timeline in order to calculate that properly. When we get to operations, however, again driven by the debt, we're either modeling quarterly or semi-annually, depending on our debt repayment profile. So the decision is, how do we structure our model to give us a monthly timeline during construction, but be able to deal with quarterly or semi-annual repayments during the operations period? And there's three ways we could go on this. Firstly, our first option is that we could model the whole thing monthly. That would allow us to properly deal with the monthly drawdowns and roll-ups and so on. And of course, on a monthly timeline, we could deal with quarterly or semi-annual repayments. So we could go monthly throughout. So the advantages of that approach are structural simplicity. All of our sheets have the same timeline and it's consistent all the way through the model. The disadvantages of that approach are, first of all, model size. So, if we have a 25-year concession and a 2-year construction period, we're going to have more than 300 columns in our model. And so our model gets quite wide and quite bloated. The other thing is that actually, if you look at the different things you're trying to model in the construction period and the operations period, the line items are different. During construction, we're dealing with project costs and debt and equity drawdowns. During operations, we're dealing with revenue, OPEX, debt repayment, tax. And so they're quite a different set of things. And we also have a lot of blank space in that model when we get into the operational period. If you've got a semi-annual debt repayment, you're going to have 5 blank columns and then your repayment, 5 blank columns and then your next repayment. And it can be quite hard to see because the model is so wide. So advantages and disadvantages. Another option would be a hybrid timeline, where the timeline starts off being monthly and then flips to quarterly or semi-annual, and that's quite a common approach. The advantages of that, again, are timeline consistency across the model, but the disadvantages, we need to encumber every calculation in the model with the intelligence to know, is this a monthly column, or is this a quarterly column, or a semi-annual column? And so we just load more overhead into the model with that. Last option is a split timeline, where we have one part of the model that's monthly and another part of the model that's quarterly or semi-annual. The advantages of that are that in the operations period, it's much easier to see everything. We don't have to deal with such a wide model with lots of blank columns. But the disadvantages are we need to pass values from the monthly section through to the kind of quarterly or semi-annual operating section. And that's just something we have to design around. Look, all of these options are valid options and we can make them work. In this course, we're using the last option, a split timeline. That's the way that we've been used to building our models. That's the approach that we prefer. But look, if you take a different approach, just make sure that you're applying it really consistently throughout your model. There's no right answer here. Every approach has got advantages and disadvantages. The key thing is to pick the approach that works for you and apply it consistently in your model.
Hey there, thanks for watching. This clip was taken from the Certificate in Project Finance Modelling course. On the course, we run weekly live financial modelling clinics, where our expert instructors will help you to get to the bottom of your project finance modelling challenges. When you're ready, you can take the Certificate in Project Finance Modelling Skills Assessment. If you're looking for the complete course in Advanced Project Finance Modelling, follow this link.